showing my favourite gadget of all time. What Stephen Fry has described as his favourite gadget of all time has arrived. It's my apple peeler, corer, slicer, dicer, fantastic thing. It was invented at the end of the 1800s. I'm just going to show you how cool it is and how well it works. Watch this. You take one apple, insert it on the spiky bits, like that, and you make sure you put it on stalk end first, and then you start turning. Look at this. And then it skins it all in one piece and slices it at the same time. So not only do you end up with your cool continuous piece of apple peel, you also have an apple that's completely sliced. Come with me over here. Just cut that up. It's going to make an apple and sultana Dutch cinnamon pie. It's taken us about 3 minutes to get this far. And we'll just put some brown sugar, sultanas and Dutch cinnamon on top. And how simple is that? And all you have left is your apple core, which goes in the compost. Fantastic. The apple slicer, dicer, amazing. Hi, I know that you're going to ask me how to turn the apples into the apple pie. Well, after you've finished using your fantastic gizmo, make sure that you do rinse it. It just rinses under the tap really easily like this. So once you've finished, take your gizmo, your apple peeling gizmo, rinse it under the tap. If you're using one of those, it's stainless steel and wrought iron, should last you forever. It's the best $15 I've ever spent. Good fun. I love my gadgets. So now it's taken me about 3 minutes to slice up all of those. Now all you have to do is get some sultanas. As you can see, I've got plenty here. I've got plenty of sultanas in there. Think bread and butter pudding without the bread and butter. So we want lots of sultanas in there. Right, now you can either use brown sugar, or use the vanilla sugar. Vanilla sugar will give it more of a donutty sort of a flavour. You can get that at the Lebanese fruit shops. They usually have all those sort of nice things. I'm probably going to use a little combination of both. My husband has a bit of a sweet tooth when it comes to apple pie, so be liberal with the brown sugar. My nana, when she taught me how to cook, she never measured anything. She'd say it's a dollop of this and a gloop of that. So we want 2 good dollops in a pie pan about this size of the brown sugar. Sprinkle it around the edges as well. And put a little bit of the cinnamon, of the vanilla sugar on, because it adds a really nice flavour, so I'll put that around the edges. Right. And your Dutch cinnamon. Now Dutch cinnamon is a different flavour to your ordinary cinnamon. Right. Still all sacred to Mercury. So what we're going to do is put a little bit of that on the top. Now we want that to all make a nice juice. So my butter's boiling. I'll turn that off. We've got a little bit of water in here, just to make sure that we have a nice juice as we put it in the oven. The oven, I know they always say 20 minutes for your oven to heat up, but these days with a fan force oven you really only need about 10 minutes. So set your oven to about 180, let that heat up. I'm going to use a bit of a shortcut for the top, so I didn't want to put pastry on the bottom, keep our carbohydrates low. What I'm going to do is just use the filo pastry. Filo pastry is a really good option. And a lot of people don't like using filo pastry, but it works well if you know how to do it. And all you've got to do is get plenty of butter. So this is pre-melted butter that we did earlier. As you can see, it's still melting away. Some people say that you've got to separate every little layer of your yellow pastry with butter. You don't have to separate every layer, but the trick to making it go golden brown and lovely is to use lots of butter. So we use lots of butter on that. Brush that on with a nice pure bristle brush and keep it all organic and nice. Now, when you're putting tops on a pie or a cake, it's always a good idea to layer it in different directions. It's just like weaving the weft and the warp in the pie is going to give it a bit of a firm crust on top. So I'll probably put this layer of butter on, put one more layer on. Again, lots of butter, and it will make it go lovely and golden brown as well. Now, it's up to you if you're one of those pedantic people that like everything perfect, whether or not you cut your edges and make it nice and round, or you can leave your edges a little bit rough. I like rough edges. Anybody that's met my partner knows I like rough edges. Anyway, so we want to stick that in about the middle of the oven. Take my other pan out. So stick that on about the middle shelf and let that cook away for about 20 to 30 minutes. Just check it because you just want it to mash down and be nice and have all come together, and the pastry on top not to burn. So just if the pastry on top starts to burn, just turn the oven down a little bit. So there you have it. That's how you make your Dutch cinnamon, apple and sultana pie. And we'll come back in a minute and let Ken sample it for you and he can give you a verdict. Okay, the bell has just gone off in the oven, so I thought we'd have a quick look, see what's going on. Oh, I don't know if you can see that, but it's bubbling away nicely in there. Looks like it's been cooking away really well, so I'm going to just test that and see whether or not that's ready to come out of the oven. If so, we'll get Ken to come in and cut it and sample it. This is the way we test the pie. Simply take a skewer, you push it down into the middle of the pie, and if there's any resistance from the fruit at all on the skewer, you put it back in the oven. But that's going in, it's nice and soft. You can tell all the apple inside's well cooked. It's just going straight through there. See? So what I'll do is we should leave that pie to cool for a minute, you know, because men are all big boys. They all want to eat everything straight away. And if Ken does eat that now, even though he hasn't cut his finger this time cooking the pie, he may very well just burn his tongue. So we'll leave that cool for a couple of minutes and then we'll get him to sample it. Alright, well Kenny said he wants some now. So what we're going to do, he didn't want to cut it. I was going to let him cut it and I was going to video him, but he didn't want to cut it. So I'm going to cut it, I'll put some in the bowl, and then we'll get him to give the verdict. So, I'm going to cut the pastry. Now, because this is a pie without a base, it will be not firm on the bottom. So, I use a spoon to scoop it out. There we go, Mr. Wills. Right, and some juice on that as well. Okay. And if you like just a little dob of cream. A little dob of cream. Okay. There you are, my love, for you. Yes, I do for you. Here you go. I'll give you that, and I would like you to give me a verdict. Okay, Kenny, please sample the pie and tell me what you think. Is it good?
Just like I bought one.
Any better?
Only much better, darling.
Oh, dear, a little slight prompting there for me, but that's fine.
Delicious.